15. Who wants to? Okay, let me start. Tasmin nirmanuje ranye pippalopasta ashritah atmanatmanam atmastham yathashrutam achintayam. Tasmin, in that, nirmanuje, without human habitation, aranye, in the forest, pippala, banyan tree, upaste, sitting under it, ashritah, taking shelter of, atmana, by intelligence, atmanam, the super soul, atmastam, situated within myself, yathashrutam, as I heard it, as I had heard it from the liberated souls, achintayam, thought over. Translation and purport by Dunge Savacharanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After that, under the shadow of a banyan tree in an uninhabited forest, I began to meditate upon the super soul situated within, using my intelligence as I had learned from the liberated souls. Purport. One should not meditate according to one's personal whims. One should know perfectly well from the authoritative sources of scriptures through the transparent medium of a bona fide spiritual master and by proper use of one's trained intelligence for meditating upon the super soul dwelling within every living being. This consciousness is firmly developed by a devotee who has rendered loving service unto the Lord by carrying out the orders of the spiritual master. Sri Narada ji contacted bona fide spiritual masters, served them sincerely, and got enlightenment rightly. Thus he began to meditate. So, what are the key points here? Who would like to start off? I hope you heard me. So, Puji, would you like to start? What Narad Muni has been doing? Swapna Mataji, Shloka number 15. I don't know if anyone could be able to share the screen.
Yes, I will share.
Please, Prabhu, if you can. 1615. So here, Narad Muni has walked a lot. He has traveled through all different types. He gained experience of different types of land. Earlier, he was just sitting with his mother in the ashram, serving the sages. So sages went away. Mother also died by Krishna's arrangement. And then now, what happens? He is. He has no reason to stay there. What will he do there with nobody around? He thought, okay, let me go. And then he goes through the hills, mountains, towns, villages, forests, everything near the rivers, everywhere. And then he becomes really tired, and then he takes drinks water to quench his thirst. And after that, he probably is inspired by Krishna to try. Okay, let me just try what they had taught me. Mhm. So this is how he starts meditating according to the uh, instructions given by the spiritual masters. One thing we have to understand here is that um, Narad Muni was not like practicing this from the ashram itself, right? You see that because if he was practicing it in the ashram itself, he would have practiced it right then and there wherever he was sitting. He was taught this process, but with all likelihood, he would probably had not tried practicing it. If he had tried it, he would have got the experience of Krishna, and you would have the life would have been in a different direction, right? So at that time when they taught him, he faithfully accepted it, but then um, he has not probably practiced it at that time, right? What will make this statement true? What will be the supporting facts that will make this statement true?
Can you see the screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, now we can see. How will we make our
Prabhuji,
presumptions true? Yes, Mataji.
using my intelligence.
No, using my intelligence is okay, but what I am saying is that he probably has not tried this meditation before. How can we confirm this assumption? What are the statements that will confirm this assumption? What are the facts, I mean, in this incident?
प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी
Yes, Piyush Prabhu.
प्रभु जी इसमें like when we need something then we approach like if I am thirsty then I approach a source of water. So before this Narad Muni ji does not felt the need, I think means like does not have any need of meditating on instructions before.
No, but that is uh, that is not a
Like
supporting fact, though.
okay.
Go ahead, you are saying something. My point, I made one point, no, Prabhu, that if he had already practiced it in the presence of the those devotees, those sages, he would have tried it the moment his mother passed away, there in his home only, right?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Because he would have definitely had the result, whatever that may be. He need not have gone through this all this traveling around everywhere and all that. Right? And by the way, why would he have to travel around?
Prabhuji, he's gaining experience to gaining experience of the nature and means
What
the
is the
nature is the
experience?
Lord is controller. Lord is the controller.
Yeah, basically, he accepted that the Lord is a controller when his mother passed away. But a worldly experience of going around and seeing how the different people, definitely in those places you would have seen many different people of different types. So would have got to see how they're all behaving, what is their lifestyle, etc., etc. Right? And would have also seen the various forest, that is the animals and all whatnot. That is that definitely helps really. An experience from the different worlds, type of places in the world, and the people also. And probably he he and is there anything that says
Prabhuji, may I say?
okay, yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
I mean, as per from my, understanding, maybe Narad Muni was busy in serving all those sages that time, so that's why he couldn't get time to practice. Also, I see the another perspective is like when the actually when any incident happens, then only people realize the value of the knowledge. That okay, now we should then actually by mercy of
That's a
Krishna.
very good point, Prabhu.
Yes, no.
It's a very good point,
So
actually.
when we lose any something, then only we realize then only we get chance to sit or meditate on ourselves, and then we can see.
Very, very beautiful point, Prabhu. Only when we experience some kind of upheaval in our life, we see a need for taking help of the spiritual practices. If everything is going normally, we won't really want to do that. It's a very good point, Prabhu. Thank you for that. Now, my question is, in one place, Prabhupada is highlighting, referring to Narad Muni as traveling mendicant. Right? Couple of places he says this. In verse number 13 also he says, it is a duty of a mendicant to experience all varieties of God's creation by traveling alone. Who else comes to your mind when traveling alone? You read that purport only, you will get it. Prabhupada in the very next line is giving the yes, Rita Mataji. Vidura is a very good example. He was going on a pilgrimage and is traveling everywhere. The purport also, Prabhupada gives a beautiful example just in the next line, 13th verse.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
He went on a tour, na? Hindu Mataji, thank you for that example. Nice. Dhruva is also, but he was going to see Krishna. He just went into the forest. He didn't try to venture much around in other places. He directly went to the forest as directed by Narada Muni. But still, yes. But Prabhupada is calling Narada Muni as a mendicant, traveling mendicant.
Even in initial days, even Prabhupada was traveling alone only. No, he went all alone. After that, only after he made disciples, only he started traveling.
Yeah.
His disciples were there with them.
Yeah. He was traveling. May not be in the forest, but he was traveling in the concrete forests. You want to call it in the US, no, and like that. Nice point. Thank you for that. So the question is, Prabhupada is really calling out Narad Muni here, even before his full complete realization, is as a mendicant. What made Prabhupada to call Narad Muni as a mendicant? What would have been, because at that time he was not a Parivrajaka right? Thank you for those examples. Sukadeva Goswami is also one of the perfect example, but he was more of a Avadhuta. He was not, he was just traveling as per Krishna's arrangement thing. So Narad Muni, can he be classified in the same thing, at least as when he's in this previous life, not in this next life, but the previous life? What would have forced him to travel?
Because of Vairag, he got like through the knowledge from the sages.
Vairagya
Like,
he got because he accepted with the Vairagya only he accepted his mother's passing away as Krishna's arrangement.
Hare
He
He
Krishna.
was
got some
going
despondent.
searching
Sorry?
for devotee association because was he going in search of devotee association? Though he went to the forest and all, he was in the
That's a
forest
good
only, not sure.
that's a that's a good direction of thought, Mataji, because a good point of view because he would have been his mother can't be brought back, but at least someone like those like the sages, if he can find somebody like them, that is one way of he was trying that for that also. What other
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, Narad Muni in his previous life had become fearless because now there is no mother, no there is no mother, there is no source who can other people who can help, and now he is fearless because he has some knowledge. He has his dependence on the knowledge he has given, the knowledge knowledge he has got, and now his dependence on the Lord is there. So he just going and he's trying many new things.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, he's trying new things.
Did he
That's
want
true
to
too.
perform any austerities? Austerities? Did he want to perform austerities?
Hmm. Yes, we can say that also, but he has not probably seen the world. He's probably just going there. But don't you think nobody is there to for him to take prasadam also or live his daily this thing? He has no mother who can feed him prasadam, or even the sages also are not there. So might be that he would even go for as a madhukari kind of a thing to go. Don't you think that would have been also a reason why he started traveling? Probably he did
Prabhuji,
not
then he
get
would have
enough.
stopped. Prabhuji,
Hmm?
if we would have stopped for Madhukari, he would have stopped before forest, no?
Probably nobody gave him prasadam.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking what would have made him uh, travel like that.
Is it, Prabhuji, is it, I don't know if I'm correct, but is it that that there are doubts and you don't know where to go, so you're just trying on your own to find answer, and you keep on traveling for
That's
search
another
in
point
search of that answer.
that's another point too. I was expecting that they might have told where Krishna is and all, where to find Krishna and all that. So he might have tried. Okay, if Krishna is everywhere, then can I see him here? Can I see him in the hills? Can I see him in the mines? Can I see him in the forest? Right?
Hmm.
They might not have just taught him the process. They might have also it's a science, so they might have taught him about some science of Krishna too, right? Otherwise, is it possible for someone to take being orphaned? I mean, to say no mother, no nobody, no well wishers. Take that as a very easily taking that as Krishna's arrangement. Is it possible for someone who did not go through proper training before meeting the sages um, to understand to get that kind of a conclusion? The one day shelter you have is taken away. How do you see the benedictory hands of the Lord? Definitely, there must be some training of knowledge also, right? Only they would not have taught him only meditation. if not a very deep message, deep thing, understanding, at least some part of that should have been there, isn't it?
Prabhuji, maybe just to follow the footsteps of sages, like how he came to know, like, he's all the sages are traveling from places to places. Maybe he was trying to follow their footsteps.
That's a very good point of view, Prabhu. Thank you for that. Right? So the sages are like coming and going. So same way, they were also trying to. He was also trying to follow the footsteps. Let's see. I will also go and see. But definitely, because if you see, in this purport, Prabhupada uses this word in the verse number 15 purport. One should know perfectly well from the authoritative sources of scriptures through the transparent medium of a bona fide spiritual master and by proper use of one's trained intelligence for meditating upon the super soul dwelling within every living being. Now, Prabhupada also writes this. Sri Narada ji contacted bona fide spiritual masters, served them sincerely, and got enlightenment rightly. Thus he began to meditate. So, what is that got enlightenment rightly means? Some area which we have not gone to meditate on much, contemplate on much, isn't it? This is throwing some nice thoughts. Because all the while we have been just blindly saying that, okay, he just served them, took the Mahaprasad, and he heard them attentively, and then he went to after everything was lost, he went through the forest, and one fine day he just sat and meditated. Krishna came. But is there some training background behind that? Because Prabhupada uses this word trained intelligence. He got the bona fide spiritual masters. The trained intelligence means they would have trained his intelligence in some way. And proper use also. Proper use means using it in the right way. The intelligence may be trained, but still we have to use it at the right time and right place. According to, right? So to what extent Narada Muni was enlightened? It's an interesting thing to think over. Yes, somebody was saying, Meenakshi Mataji, or who was that?
Yeah. Prabhuji,
Geeta Mataji, yes.
the verse number 13 purport, the first line says, it is the duty of mendicant to experience all varieties of God's creation
Correct.
by traveling through forest and gain faith in God. So there are 2 points mentioned here. One is to gain faith in God and strength of mind. And second point is enlightening the inhabitants with message of God. So these are 2 purposes of traveling for a meditation.
Three points. Gain faith in God, strength of mind, and enlightening the inhabitants, the message of God.
Yes.
But my question is, this is Prabhupada is telling in a general about a mendicant, duty of the mendicant. But was Narad Muni in that state already is a question mark, right? It's something which we can, it's an open question. Was he completely enlightened that the inhabitants, all other people also should be conveyed the message of God, just like any learned Parivrajaka anybody would do. Again, Prabhupada got the training by his spiritual master. When he took sannyas, he just went and he was traveling everywhere. He did it. He was already trained about this process. Was Narad Muni aware of the importance of traveling, enlightening others, etc. at this point?
Can we say that he was guided by the
Sorry?
guided by the super soul? Super soul guides.
No, where is guided by the super soul?
No, it's not mentioned, but something must be there, no? Some intuition, something must be there. That's why he would have walked
That's a
towards
very
the
good point,
forest.
Mataji. I really like it. You guided by the super soul. Might be that Krishna might be inspiring him to travel these places because his heart was pure. He had no contamination inside. A very small boy, and he accepted everything as Krishna's gift. He was just without any contamination or kalmash. He was following what the sages taught him. He might not be aware of the complete implications of what the sages told him, but at the same time, uh, he had full faith that whatever they say, will, even though I may not be fully understanding, it will work. He was because if you see in the 5th chapter, his attraction for hearing Krishna Katha was really mature by the time the sages were living. Yes or no? If you see the 5th chapter, the step by step he's telling no how he took Mahaprasad, and then um, after that the sages step by step the attraction was gradually increasing. You remember that the few verses. Once only I took by permission, that verse is there, 1:526 onwards. In that association and by the mercy of those great Vedantis, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. And thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of Godhead increased at every step. As soon as I got the taste of the personality of Godhead, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings. For both the Lord and I are transcendental, right? Thus, during two seasons, the rainy season and autumn, I had the opportunity to hear these great souls constantly chanting the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanished. She is pretty much enlightened by this time only. I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle. Passion and ignorance is gone, he's telling, right? Even before practicing the process, right? I was very much attached to those sages with gentle behavior. All my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. So I would say, see, they taught him. Now, next two verses also is important. As they were leaving, those Bhakti Vedantas who are very kind to poor-hearted souls instructed me in that most confidential subject, which is instructed by the Personality of God himself. By that confidential knowledge, I could understand clearly the influence of the energy of Lord Krishna, the creator, maintainer, and director of everything. This understanding the influence of the energy of Lord Sri Krishna, what does that mean? By knowing that, one can return to him and personally meet him. How can we practically see the influence of the energy of Lord Sri Krishna in his life? Well, I mean, that what is the proof that he has understood it clearly?
That he is able to time travel.
No. You see this point that when his mother passed away, he took it as Krishna's arrangement, right? How will you take it as Krishna's arrangement? You will see that this is an act of Maya. External energy is doing this. Without the power of the external energy, how one can come into being and leave the place also? Like you accept that, right? The external energy has created this bondage of me as her child and for her as the mother. If you are not clear about this fact, you'll be lamenting over the mother's death. He will be lamenting over the mother's death, correct? Not only material energy, but all different energies. By that confidential knowledge, they have taught him clearly all the knowledge. I could understand clearly the influence of the energy of Lord Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna. By knowing that, one can return to him and personally meet him. So he is very much clear about that, what Krishna is doing. So to that extent, the sages have already trained him. And then what he is saying, see, O Brahmana Vyasadeva, it is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to. So this, from here onwards, he is speaking the message to be given in the Bhagavatam. So up to 31 only he is giving his story. 27 to 31, huh? How much? No, 23 to 31. Those 9 verses he is speaking the first half of the story. Right? A very interesting points to discuss here. So if you go back to verse number 13, 6:13. Okay, not 13, sorry, 11. 11, no, 10. I took this as the special mercy of the Lord, who always desires benediction for his devotees. And so thinking, I started for the north. Prabhupada writes the purport, confidential devotees of the Lord see in every step a benedictory direction of the Lord. Right, this we discussed at that point. But if you see, here itself, the advanced stage of Narad Muni's devotion is kind of revealed. Yes or no? Because by the knowledge that is given by the sages, he's already come to this point. They have taught him in everything, right? They have taught him. He got attraction to hearing Krishna Katha. And that's why one thing must be there also. Like somebody was telling this a little earlier. Very nice point, that he might have been searching for those sages, or maybe someone similar to the sages from whom he can to whom he can serve again and learn more from them. That can be one reason he would have started traveling. Or the another thing might be that the sages in their training only, they would have told him that when you are, a time will come when you have to travel around and see Krishna everywhere. Or they would have told him, learn to see Krishna everywhere. Right? So our initial premise was not correct, that he was not trained enough. He was actually trained enough by that time. Right? Only thing might be that he was not probably practicing as much this meditation. Maybe he had not practiced the meditation part of it earlier. This is probably the first time he's practicing the meditation. Right? Otherwise, that experience he would have got there earlier, and there is no mention of him trying that the sadhana part, basically, right? He's hearing from them. He has got affinity to hearing about Krishna. But the process of meditation, which they taught, he might not have practiced it very, eagerly. Maybe that's one thing that's why he's talking about that in this thing. Maybe Super Soul inspired him to do that at this point, right? It could have been. It could be that. I've got the inspiration from Paramatma. That okay, let me try the meditation. So, is it safe to conclude that he had not done meditation or this dhyan part taught by the sages before this point?
So he used to be such a young boy, no, and he didn't get chance. After meeting the sages only, actually, after serving them only and hearing from them only, he got set.
Sorry, Mataji, no, what is that? I was not able to hear you.
No, I was saying that before meeting sages, he was not at all exposed to them. No, he was not exposed to any other religious practitioners or anybody. So after meeting the sages, serving them.
No, I'm
then
not talking
only-
about this. No, I'm not talking about the sages part. I'm talking about the point where he is going to meditate. Now he is going to meditate, no?
Correct.
So before this, while he was traveling or even before that, can we say safely that he has not tried it before?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can I try?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
I feel that now he is going to try to meditate on his super soul. But initially he had meditated on the knowledge which was given, because without that he cannot make
No, what do you
this.
mean by meditate on the knowledge?
Because whatever knowledge the sages had given him, he had been contemplating on what we
No,
do
it's
the
not only the knowledge, Mataji. See, you
Manan.
see, it's not only the knowledge. He has already, see, it's in verse number 1526. See, he says, I became pure, all my sins were eradicated. I became purified at heart. Hmm? And then he says, I could hear, by their association and mercy, I could hear them describe the attractive leelas of Krishna. And thus, listening attentively, my ears were hearing the personality of God increased at every step. Then his attention to hear the Lord became unflinching. And then he even got the knowledge that it's I'm not this body, basically. He got this realization that because only in my ignorance I accepted gross and subtle thing, gross and subtle coverings as myself. He has realized that he's not the, I am the soul, I am not the body. Correct? And that's the reason he was able to take his mother's departure also very balanced way. Right? He would have, if you realize that I am not the body, I am I am the soul, he would have also realized about his mother also that she is not the body, she is a soul. It's only the body that has left. The Dehi Nosmi Yata Dehi. He would have he has realized it already. And he clearly says that the coverings of modes of passion and ignorance is also gone. This is eradicated. He says all my sins were eradicated. Right? So he is, with all due respects, we can, with all of his assumptions, we can safely assume that he has got the complete transcendental knowledge. He's got his realization also. But the consistent dhyan part he has not been probably practicing. That meditating on the Lord in the heart, isn't it? That part is not, smaranam part is probably not doing it. And there's a good chance to assume that he was looking for those sages or similar devotees like him, like them, while he's traveling. He's also looking for association, we can say that. He might be, like, right? Because everybody wants association at whatever stage of life they are in the devotional life. I mean, nobody wants to be away from devotees, especially whatever the sages taught him is all completely pure devotional service path only, bhakti marg only. Right? They are not teaching him Ashtanga yoga, or even if it is some yoga, whatever other, that Shank yoga, Ashtanga, whatever, still it is bhakti. It's centered around bhakti only. Right? Correct? So it's safe to assume that he has just not practiced that yoga only, but as far as his Shravanam and Kirtanam part is concerned, he is fully mature by that time. Can we say that way safely?
Prabhuji, I was thinking in this line that we think because he's in Satya Yoga and Satya Yoga Dhyan part was there, so he had not done the Dhyan part, but he was ahead of time and he had already done Bhakti, and in the Bhakti he has done Shravanam and also Seva, and he has already been in yoga, and it is, I think, Krishna's arrangement that he is already in the past life only is into bhakti, and later in his when he becomes Narad Muni, he spreads bhakti. So it
Ah,
bhakti.
that is there. But one important point, very nice point you brought up, Mataji. But one important thing that just came to my mind, just struck my mind. Maybe please, if you can also um, correct me, or you can validate it. Mm, so far, he was following the instructions to when they were present. Hmm? While leaving, they were giving him the instruction. This is how you will see Krishna through this process. They might have taught him, you do this meditation process and then meditate on Krishna, Dhyan, karo, like that. But he probably was looking for their association wherever he was going. However, he got their association through following their instruction. At this point, when he's sitting and meditating, that is where he is actually following the instructions in their absence. See, you can follow an instruction in his presence, in the spiritual master's presence. But following in their absence, how will you associate with them in their absence? You can associate with
Vani
them. You can tell whatever they are telling you do. They are all instruction, following the small instruction that they are telling. That's fine. But how do you associate with them in their absence?
Vani Seva. Yeah, Prabhuji.
What does that Vaniseva word mean originally in reality? Following their instructions.
Yeah, exactly.
So through following their instructions, you are getting the association of your guru. Right? That is throughout the Bhagavatam you will see. You have the association of the guru by following their instructions. They continuously either following the instructions or meditating on how to put those instructions into practice. Meditating on how to follow it. Either way, you will be associating with the guru. Prabhupada was associating with his Guru Maharaj by constantly meditating on how to fulfill it. Right? So, we don't need to have too many instructions from the Guru. Just one instruction is enough. Even one instruction you take as your life's instruction and keep meditating on how to fulfill it, that is good enough to perfect our life and achieve, or be part of the Guru's mission. Right? So here, when he probably tried all this thing, I think to safe to assume this, maybe this is a safer assumption to understand he was going around everywhere. One way to see that is he was trying to experience Krishna everywhere as maybe instructed, as the knowledge given by the sages. Right? They would have told that Krishna is present everywhere. So he's trying to go everywhere to see Krishna. Right? But you can see Krishna only when you follow the instructions of a spiritual master. That's what he is doing here. Right? Actually putting it to practice. He was following in one way, that is a preparatory stage to that, leading to that point where he is finally putting that instruction. They taught him the confidential thing of how to meditate on Krishna, right? That is putting into practice. And to travel everywhere also might have been an instruction. Definitely they would have instructed him in that way. Or you would have learned from them also, even if they had not told him, they would have learned that, hey, these devotees means they're all traveling everywhere. So I think I should also do that. Maybe that thing. Because he has not seen any other devotees other than these Bhaktivedanta sages. Correct? Safe to assume that also.
Yes,
They are the
Prabhuji.
only ones whom we met, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Prabhuji, this I really like, Prabhuji, how you said it.
Which one, Mataji?
That he would have traveled, maybe they would have instructed, or he has learnt it from his acharyas as their behavior, from their acharyas behavior.
Just by seeing how they are
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
Many times a spiritual master does not tell directly, but by their behavior they will inspire
Yeah.
us, right?
Yes,
By
yes.
their activities or actions, they would inspire us. You serve the Vaishnavas like this, you talk to the living entities like this. He may not directly tell them, but through their, that is what Acharya means.
Yeah, acharan. Yeah.
Acharan, right? See
Prabhuji,
how
one
nice
more
are getting unearthed.
Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, very nice point you mentioned, and I was thinking that also Srila Prabhupada, when he got the instruction from his spiritual master, he could not immediately implement it, but slowly as the thing proceeded, he could eventually go to US and spread this knowledge. So similarly, Narad Muni also got the instruction, but he was having his mother with him. But when the mother died, that there is no attachment there. So now he can follow the instruction properly, as Prabhupada also did eventually. So he took some time to actually implement that instruction.
Yes, but do you think Prabhupada's attachment is one of the reasons for him to delay that following thing?
No, Prabhuji, he was practicing before also.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah, he's
Prabhuji
already
was
his passion and
contemplating how to
ignorance
do
and all
that.
removed, no?
Prabhupada was
Oh,
already
you're talking Prabhupada. Yes,
contemplating how
yes.
to do it.
Prabhupada was always, see, he was trying different ways. He was calling different devotees to him because he was a bit shy. If you had to come down to Prabhupada's side, he was very shy or meek and humble to put himself, ahead and say that I am better than all these other god brothers who are sannyasis and brahmacharis. So, I mean, my guru had told me this directly, so let me try doing this. That is not the way he was doing. He was very much trying to connect with every single one of his god brothers and trying to, through them, trying to take their help. And even he was trying to serve them and make them the leader of this thing, if you remember. He was telling you, please be the leader. I will try to help you. I will assist you. Right? Recently, there was a very interesting thing that I think was it Gaurang Prabhu or someone mentioned that towards later stages of his life, Prabhupada, I'm slightly deviating, but it's a nice point to think to meditate on. Around 76 or so, I think when Prabhupada came back to Vrindavan, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj is one of his senior god brothers. He was there and they both met. And actually, Prabhupada and Sridhar Maharaj are talking for quite some time, and they were very, very good, thick friends actually. And at one point, Prabhupada tells him that, Maharaj, why don't you just join us and you be the Acharya of this movement which I have started? We can work together. But Sridhar Maharaj was pretty shy. He was hesitant to take that thing. kind of he didn't give any positive response. But when Prabhupada asked this question to Sridhar Maharaj, his disciples were all very worried, perplexed, saying, so far we have been following Prabhupada. What will happen? I don't know if we don't know how much we are connected with Sridhar Maharaj. We are more connected with Prabhupada, etc. So after Sridhar Maharaj left, the devotees, senior devotees, they were all like BBC sannyasis and all. So they came and asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, why did you give such an offer to Sridhar Maharaj? Were you serious about it? Actually, at that time, Prabhupada says that, yes, I was indeed serious about it because my Guru Maharaj told me that you should somehow encourage Sridhar Maharaj to come out of his shell. He's more hesitant out of his humility. He's very hesitant to take up things, but he's a very capable leader. So I wanted to do this service. He told me in 1930s, but at least I should try to do it before I leave. So he was quoting that point, and I think he was saying that spiritual master's instructions can be delayed but not denied. You may do it a little later also, but then you can see how much Prabhupada is thinking about this instruction throughout his life. After 35 years also, he was thinking about it and trying to make this offer to Sridhar Maharaj. At least we can do together like that. Right?
Yeah.
So I was just thinking on that point because you were talking about following the instructions of the spiritual master, right? And there is no better example in front of us than Srila Prabhupada himself, right? Who would like to do that? You struggle so hard to build this worldwide movement, and after it is all mature and growing like exponentially, etc., you are saying that to your God Brother that please take over. It requires an amazing level of detachment, an inconceivable level of detachment, isn't it? So that's the extent to which Prabhupada is wanting to follow his spiritual master's instructions. Right? So that is where you see you associate with you get the association of your Guru Maharaj, your spiritual master, by following instruction. It may be even a generic instruction like chant your round sincerely, read Prabhupada's books. Maybe even be a simple general instruction that we give to everybody. Still, it is an instruction to us. There is no difference between this instruction and any other personal instruction that is given to us. He might specifically tell, do this project, be owner, no, take over this particular project and do it, this make it your life. He may say it like that. That he may tell to some devotees, not all of them. But pretty much predominantly for the rest of the thing, it's the same service, it's the same thing. Do you think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would not have given any instructions to his other disciples who are sannyasis already? Prabhupada has given this one main instruction, right? That print books in English or preach in English, whatever. That's the only thing that he told. Maybe a few others might have been, because he has spoken quite a bit with his Guru Maharaj. Definitely some other things would be there, but it's all centered around this one thing which he, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur really wanted. Now, definitely he would have given more instructions to his other sannyasi disciples, closer disciples, right? With all due respects, we can say that when he was Abhay Charan, initially when he was initiated and being in Grahastha thing, there would have been definitely more sannyasi disciples who were also closer to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, right? They would have given much more deeper instructions also. But Prabhupada was not worried about those things. My instruction, whatever he has given me, that is how I associate with him. By following that only, I associate with him. Correct? So I would say that he has already been purified by being with them, but the association of the spiritual master in his apparent absence is possible definitely only by following through following their instructions. or meditating on their instructions. Who is the best example for this in Bhagavatam itself? We all know that example.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Huh?
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruv
following
Maharaj,
the
okay,
instruction.
but no, but specifically one particular personality is there who showed
What is the
us.
example, Prabhuji?
Sorry?
Prabhuji? What is the example you are asking for?
That one of the personalities in Bhagavatam showed us the importance of following the instructions, associating with your spiritual master through following their instructions. Associating with the spiritual master in his absence, physical absence, through their instructions.
Arjuna.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Bharadwaj.
Yes, Prahlad Maharaj is also true. One specific personality is there. We all know.
Chitraketu Maharaj.
No. That is specifically meant for us to teach that lesson. That's why I'm.
Shabri, sorry, she is not from Bhagavatam. Shabri was also like, but
Shabri is also there,
Mm.
but she has not even seen Lord Ram, if you remember. Right?
Vyasadevji.
Arjuna.
Why are you missing on this main person? And I'm not denying all your other examples, but this person is the main person. Don't you think Arjun did that in the 15th chapter? Yes, Mamataji just now answered. Arjun followed the instructions of Krishna and experienced his presence through that, isn't it? Experience his association through that, isn't it? Yes or no? 15th chapter. Swapna Mataji, you haven't come to that chapter yet, huh? So you are thinking over it. Which chapter? I think you are in 9th chapter or 10th chapter, something like that.
10th chapter.
Yes.
Guru.
9th, huh?
10th.
10th, okay. So, see, you see that example, no? That Krishna had left the planet and Arjuna was coming back from Dwarka and he was defeated by these cowherd men. And then when he comes back and talks to Yudhishthira Maharaj, remembering Krishna, then in the end, what does he say? He says that now that I am remembering his instruction and that is specifying my heart, I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the Supreme Lord in the battlefield. With that, I am able to pacify the pain in my heart is reduced. Right? So he shows us that you can associate with your guru. Is of course Arjuna's guru is Krishna. You can associate with your guru by remembering their instructions and putting them into practice. That is the best way to associate with your spiritual master. And he's the best example for that. And we can see that Narada Muni also that associating with your spiritual master in their absence also through following the instructions pleases Krishna the most. And that is when Krishna bestows his causeless mercy upon us. Not otherwise. You cannot. That's what is that every day we are singing? What is that? The morning prayers, every day we sing, no?
Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasada.
Yes. When you please spiritual master, automatically Krishna is pleased. So by following the instructions in their absence, they get their association, the spiritual master is pleased. And because we are pleasing the spiritual master, Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, he is Dadami Buddhi Yogam, then he does. And that is how Krishna is right from there on, right from the moment his mother passed away, he has been trying to find out ways to follow his spiritual masters. Right? Somehow or other. And then at one point, Krishna instructs him that, okay, now I can see that you have an eagerness to follow your spiritual master's order. Now you follow this order, meditation. So he was pleased. The only way to please Krishna is by pleasing the spiritual master. And the only way to please the spiritual master is by following his instructions. Yes. See how nice. This is how Vicharana Parva. We probably delved into a section of thoughts which were not obviously written in the pages, if you see, isn't it? So that's why we have to go back and forth. Like we read these fifth chapter shlokas quite a while ago. At that time it was nice, but we now if you read it again, it looks very new, isn't it? From this perspective, whether Narada Muni already was enlightened or not, that is a question which he started off with. And then we saw that yes, he was indeed enlightened. The only thing he didn't do is that he didn't practice what they had told him to do. That is the meditation part. And as soon as he did that, he got Krishna's association. Until that point, he's traveling everywhere. Right? That what is that shloka? Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhaktirata Bij. Right? Of course, he is already a Bhagyavan Jiva. He was traveling everywhere, not like any other normal Jiva, but as a realized soul. So he got his Guru and Krishna's Prasad. And that's where his service is starting now. Right? Nice. Any thoughts, any questions, comments before we wind up? Oh, actually, we didn't read this. We read this verse, of course, 15th verse. It led to some nice contemplation. So, what are things that we confirmed? Narada Muni is already a self-realized soul. He was already following Krishna consciousness. He was already practicing Krishna consciousness. I mean, devotional service. And the only thing that he probably did not do is the meditation. But because he was sincerely searching for those, for the association of the sages and, that way, Krishna inspired him from within that you please do this. By putting their instruction to practice, you will get their association. So what is that other point that we discussed? The only way to please the Guru's spiritual master is by following their instruction. And only by pleasing the Guru, we can please Krishna. Okay. And here also he is saying Yata Shrutam, as I had learned from the liberated souls, from the sages. He is meditating on it. Okay, they taught me this and I will have to put it into practice. See, that's why this Prabhupada is writing this beautifully in this 15th verse, which we read today. Now, whatever we discussed is now culminating in this beautiful line Prabhupada is writing. One should know perfectly well from the authoritative sources of scriptures through the transparent medium of a bona fide spiritual master and by proper use of one's trained intelligence. He was trained intelligence. His intelligence was trained by the spiritual masters for meditating upon the super soul dwelling within every living being. Right? Now we should not consider this part as separate. This is some different process. Meditating on the super soul within. In chanting also, that is what we are supposed to do. In any of this thing, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says time and again that what is that? Hridesha Arjuna Tishtati. He says that no, meditate on me inside and man mana bhavat bhakto. Right? So he is also meditating on Krishna only because that Shravanam Kirtanam of Krishna's activities, Leela Anusmaran, everything has happened. So he is not in that, impersonal Brahman stage or Paramatma stage. He is already meditating on Krishna within. This consciousness is firmly developed. This is a very nice, this beautiful statement. This consciousness is firmly developed by a devotee who has rendered loving service unto the Lord by carrying out the orders of the spiritual master. This is what we have been discussing till now. You are serving Krishna when you are serving your spiritual master, your spiritual master's order. What consciousness is firmly developed?
Krishna consciousness.
That I have to meditate upon the super soul dwelling within every living being. Now, this very nice thing, the Prabhupada is highlighting this line is very beautiful. Super soul dwelling within every living being. What does that mean? There's a difference between super soul dwelling within me and super soul dwelling within every living being. Prabhupada would have written super soul dwelling within Narada Muni's heart or one's heart. What does this signify about this particular point? Did you notice that? Dwelling within every being. Why he has to say dwelling within every being? So, Pramataji, you raised your hand now or long back?
I was thinking something I wanted to share, so I raised.
Okay, let's close this point and then we'll discuss that. Why is Prabhupada not saying dwelling within his heart or one's heart?
Because he wants to say that the Krishna is in everyone's heart, and then we should focus. We should look
That
Krishna in
consciousness,
everyone.
no, yeah, you're right. Those who are meditating on Paramatma or the Lord within, they should come to a stage that Krishna is in everybody's heart. Only then that meditation can be successful. If you simply say that in my heart Krishna is there, I meditate on him, I don't care about the Krishna in others' heart, it will not work. That meditation process will not work. That is why he is saying this is the same living, this is the same Lord who is within every living being. He is inside me also. I meditating on him actually means I am not thinking of doing it for my own well-being alone, but I am doing it for everybody's well-being. Because I am seeing Krishna in everybody. So there is no unnecessary discriminations. That I am Krishna's, you are not Krishna's, etc., etc. That's a very, very important point. Where is that chapter? Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata and all in Bhagavad Gita it will come, no? So the moment you see Krishna living in everybody's heart, what will be your approach towards all the living entities? Sarva Bhuta Hite Rata, correct? We should find out this from the Paramatma meditation chapters. It will be there definitely that one should meditate on the Supreme Lord who is present in every heart. Same, it's there. When Dhruva Maharaj was meditating also, he was not just meditating on the Lord within his heart, but with the knowledge that the same Lord is present in all the other hearts also. See, verse number 235, if you see, the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is in every living being, along with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. So only if you are trained to accept that Krishna is everywhere in every place, we can meditate on him everywhere. No, otherwise I can do that only in certain so and so places. So that limited meditation will not help. It may not be pleasing to. What is BG 2525, Prabhu? Which one you are referring to?
It's a shloka in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita also, like
Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita. Labante Brahma Nirvanamasya Shir Kalmasha Shinyadeta Yatmana Sarvabhute Ritehta.
No, the Sarvabhuta Hitarata is there in 12th chapter also. Kleshodikadarastesham avyakta sapta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam dehavadviravapite ketu sarvani karmani mai stanyasya matparaha ananyena eva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. No, wait a minute. And he's telling about Kleshodikadarastesham also. No, I think in the 6th chapter you will get Prabhu. So, see the 6th chapter, Yoga system.
Yeah.
See, a true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Sarva bhutastam atmanam sarva bhutani chatmani vikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. 6.29. See, this conclude is confirmed by this verse also. 6.29 and 30. So that point is very important. If you have to meditate on the super soul within our heart, we should before that we should have the complete conviction that the same super soul is present in everyone's heart. So when you are meditating on the super soul, you are not just meditating for your own well-being, but for everybody's well-being. That's you are concerned about everybody in this world. It's a very important point. See how Prabhupada is bringing that beautiful point there. Who is situated in every living being. Same thing, that I am suffering, everybody else is suffering. When you are thinking that I am the only one suffering, you will go to Krishna to solve only your problem. When you see everybody else is suffering, you go to Krishna and pray to Krishna that please solve everybody's problem. Or please take everybody to you. Like Prahlad Maharaj is praying to Nrsimhadev that I don't want to come alone. You take everybody, you give a confirmed ticket to everybody, then I will come. Otherwise, I am not coming. Right? That's a beautiful point that Prabhupada has brought it. Huh? So nice. Okay, we'll stop there. Maybe Krishna willing will continue. Next couple of weeks, if Prabhu's Mataji, if you're okay, we can do it on Sunday. If this timing is okay for you, or maybe a little later, whatever is convenient, let's try that, because I will not be free on Saturdays at our usual time. Is that okay? Sunday is okay? Or you want to suggest any other time, we will plan it accordingly.
Yes, and this time is fine, Prabhuji, by God's grace.
Okay, let's keep this only 1 to 2:15 hours or something like that. We can do IST. Okay, we'll stop here. Nice. You all nicely participated after a long time. Could connect, and also some nice discussion points. Thank you so much, Prabhu's Matajis. We'll continue soon. Krishna willing. Hare Krishna. जय ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो। Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.